Hi, my name is Gabriel Arruda. I reversed my autoimmune disease, and I'd like to tell you how. What I'm about to show you is my story and the 5-step protocol I discovered that put my autoimmune disease into full remission. Through this plan, I was able to overcome allergic reactions to foods, bouts of fatigue, problems sleeping, malnutrition, stomach pain, horrible fungal skin rashes, dental health problems, discouragement, and depression. I've been inspired as I've personally seen people with conditions such as lupus, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, MS, and PCOS recover by using the exact program that I'm about to share with you. This is because all autoimmune diseases have the same principal root cause. And when you treat the root issue, 5 months after mom died, after getting some testing done, I found that I had the same autoimmune disease as my mother and grandmother. My grandmother died at 84. My mother would have died at 56 had she not received the liver transplant. And I knew I would die younger than them both if something didn't happen soon. Lab tests found that my liver enzymes were abnormal. I also received a list of 15 different foods that my body was having an autoimmune reaction to. After eating certain foods, I would experience fatigue, headaches, and sometimes terrible migraines. And after faithfully doing this protocol, in just 9 months from the time of my diagnosis, I had blood work done and all of my inflammation markers were negative. My body is showing no more signs of autoimmune disease. What we found out? Women make up more than 75% of all autoimmune sufferers. Most begin experiencing symptoms from the ages of 15 up to 60. Typically, if you are in your mid to late teens, 20s or 30s, and have begun to experience any of the following symptoms, it could be very likely that you have an autoimmune disease. Here are the common symptoms: food allergies, thyroid issues, weight gain or weight loss, fatigue, exhaustion, dry thinning hair, depression, brain fog, headaches, joint pain. Are you experiencing any of these symptoms? It's common for women to discover their autoimmune condition due to their difficulty getting pregnant, or they begin experiencing symptoms within 12 months after pregnancy. As we did research on the treatments to cure autoimmune diseases, we were shocked. Everyone is saying, there's no known cure. The cause of lupus is not known. The cause of MS is still unknown. Fibromyalgia is a chronic condition, meaning it lasts a long time, probably a lifetime. Or that the only way to handle the disease is taking drugs that, quote, almost always needs to be taken for the rest of a person's life. But thankfully, it's simply not true. I was able to reverse my autoimmune disease without taking one single medication, and I've seen others do the same. Here are the typical autoimmune treatments you will find in the medical establishment. First, medications. Second, paleo diet or Wall's diet. Third, surgery. And fourth, management measures. Here's why these treatments don't work. Though well-intentioned, for the most part, all doctors can do for you is prescribe medications. Most likely, these will be steroids, which will never cure your autoimmune disease. All you will do is exchange one symptom for another. Let's just take the meds used to treat lupus, for example. Quote, these drugs can cause serious side effects including nausea, vomiting, hair loss, bladder problems, decreased fertility, and risk of cancer and infection. These drugs can also cause birth defects. Another lupus drug, called Benlysta. In clinical studies, people taking Benlysta reported more deaths and serious infections than people not taking the drug. Benlysta should not be given with live vaccines. The most common side effects include nausea, diarrhea, and fever. Another set of drugs used to manage lupus are corticosteroids. The short-term side effects of these are a round or puffy face, acne, heartburn, increased appetite, weight gain, and mood swings. Long-term side effects can include easy bruising, thinning skin and hair, weakened or damaged bones, high blood pressure, damage to the arteries, high blood sugar, infections, muscle weakness, and cataracts. Some people may have ulcers, depression, or even congestive heart failure. Are you noticing that many times the side effects of these drugs are the exact same as the symptoms of the disease itself? For instance, here are the common lupus symptoms, and here are the common lupus drug side effects. One of the symptoms of lupus is hair loss, and one of the side effects of lupus drugs is hair loss. A common lupus symptom is fever. A lupus drug side effect is fever. Then there's weight gain, muscle weakness, and muscle weakness, depression, and depression. Many of the effects of the disease and the side effects from the drugs to cure the disease are the exact same. It's crazy, even insulting. What's worse, the disease or the drugs to treat the disease? I'm not sure. And this is just lupus. The drugs for other autoimmune diseases are no better. The paleo or Wahls diet. As a dietary approach to heal autoimmune diseases, many well-meaning health professionals have recommended a new fad diet called the paleo diet, or a modified version of it called the Wahls diet, to treat autoimmune diseases. Here's why these diets don't work. The philosophy behind these diets is that we eat like our hunter-gatherer ancestors. This means a major focus on meat, fish, eggs, vegetables, fruits, nuts, and seeds, while completely eliminating almost all other foods. Here's the problem. Leaky gut is the foundational problem for every autoimmune disease. Yet even a single meal containing saturated fat from animal foods causes a breakdown in the lining of the small intestine, which is leaky gut. These diets rely heavily on meat and animal products for nutrition, yet studies are showing that animal fat actually causes leaky gut. Besides inducing leaky gut, there are more issues with the high meat paleo diet and Wahls diet. Most meat has been found to contain large amounts of a particular estrogen growth hormone called estradiol, which is known to promote cancer. Anything that increases or prolongs a woman's exposure to estrogen increases her risk of breast cancer. Estradiol induces tumors in rats, mice, and hamsters, and when its levels become elevated in humans, there is a corresponding increase in breast and uterine cancer. Another component found in the high meat paleo diet that will drive up your hormones is fat. Studies show that high dietary fat intake is associated with elevated serum estrogen and androgens, leading to increased rates of breast, colon, and prostate cancer. The paleo diet is also a very high protein diet. Diets high in protein have been shown to promote tumors and increase metastasis to the liver and lungs, as well as contribute to the formation of kidney stones. These diets are going to worsen your leaky gut, wreak havoc on your kidneys, and increase your risk of heart disease and cancer. Instead of using the paleo diet, we found a completely natural and healthy diet that stopped my autoimmunity in its tracks and actually strengthened my immune system instead of suppressing it. Surgery. This one is self-explanatory. Do you really want to have to look forward to a surgery in 5 to 10 years that wouldn't even result in solving your autoimmune problem? A surgery just to keep you barely treading water? Every time you go under for surgery, every time you get cut open, you're taking a risk. Not to mention that medical error has been charted as the number 3 killer in America. My mother had to undergo several surgeries due to her autoimmune condition. One of the worst ones was a liver transplant surgery. My poor mother went through a nightmare with all the surgeries she had to endure. My grandmother, who had the same autoimmune disease, was too old to qualify for a liver transplant and died a painful death. However, thanks to God and the autoimmune protocol we learned about, I am in complete remission and will never have to worry about surgery as long as I keep on track and stay healthy. Then there's management measures. Some management approaches include avoiding sunlight, staying in bed most of the day, or physical therapy. Is this really the way you really want to live your life? These may reduce symptoms, but are not addressing the root cause. Therefore, you will only be managing your condition for the rest of your life. Do you want to spend the rest of your life trying to avoid the sun? Do you want to spend the rest of your life sleeping in bed? Or spend the rest of your life having to go to physical therapy appointments? Not what you prefer? This isn't what I wanted either. All the conventional treatments either have side effects just as bad, if not worse than the autoimmune disease itself, are actually perpetuating leaky gut as well as increasing your risk for liver failure, kidney failure, and cancer, or are risky and invasive. Also, none of these approaches actually address the root cause of autoimmunity. They are really only pitiful attempts at trying to manage symptoms. Lastly, None of these approaches address the genetic factor involved in autoimmune diseases, meaning you could be doing all the right things to treat your autoimmune disease and yet still never fully heal because you have a problem at the genetic level that needs to be addressed. I'll show you why in a minute. Now I'm going to give you my 5-step plan that I use to heal my autoimmune disease. 1. Remove foods and toxins that are damaging the gut. 2. Heal the leaky gut. 3. Nutrify. 4. Cleanse and detox. 5. Remove chronic stress. These have to be done all at once. They have a synergistic effect on each other. Let's start with the first. Remove foods and toxins that are damaging the gut. It has been discovered that the fundamental cause of all autoimmune disease is toxins, which creates leaky gut. These toxins can come from many different sources, such as chronic stress, poor air quality, household mold infections, contaminated water, and many other environmental sources. However, one of the biggest sources of toxic substances that we are continually exposed to is something we are actually paying for, something we are in fact willingly introducing into our bodies. It's our food. Yes, almost every American on a daily basis is eating food that your body is actually recognizing as toxins. The biggest of the food culprits is genetically modified foods, also known as GMOs. Genetically modified organisms are plants or animals that have their DNA altered to withstand deadly doses of herbicides and to produce their own pesticides. Animal studies indicate serious health risks associated with GMOs, including immune problems, accelerated aging, allergies, new diseases, and infertility. 2. Heal the leaky gut. Since GMO foods have been modified at a cellular level, when we ingest them, the body identifies it as something abnormal or a toxin, and thus attacks. Therefore, if we are continually ingesting these foods, our immune system is continually attacking. This constant attacking occurs primarily in the small intestine, because this is where the body's first line of defense against invaders is. The result of this continual attacking is damage and inflammation in the small intestine, which results in leaky gut. Leaky gut is the main factor in autoimmune disease, and therefore people with an autoimmune disease also have leaky gut. What is leaky gut? Leaky gut is where the wall of your small intestine becomes damaged and permeable, meaning it gets holes in it. These holes in the small intestine allow large particles of undigested food, bad bacteria, and toxic waste to leak into your bloodstream. Your immune system recognizes these foreign invaders in your body and attacks them. Unfortunately, your own tissues can get caught in the friendly crossfire, and this is what causes an autoimmune condition in the body. 3. Nutrify. Our small intestine is where most of the nutrients from the food we eat gets absorbed into our bodies. Since damaged villi in the small intestine comes along with all autoimmune diseases, we are not going to be absorbing nutrients like we need to, which results in being malnourished in key nutrients, vitamins, and minerals. A whole host of side effects can stem from this problem. It takes a high nutrient diet to heal from the years of damage done to your organs and tissues from an autoimmune disease. This high nutrient diet consists of specialized organic anti-inflammatory foods that assist the body in repairing itself. I'll show you a vitamin that works better than all the drug steroids that doctors prescribe to suppress autoimmunity. This vitamin actually acts as a steroid hormone itself, increasing your immune system's ability to differentiate between your own tissues and foreign invaders. 4. Cleanse, detox. Most people go years before figuring out they have an autoimmune disease. On top of that, it could be another several years before knowing what to do about it. During this time, the body is building up toxins from toxic food, the environment, and undigested food particles in the bloodstream. In step 1, I discussed about the need to prevent toxins from coming in, but there's still the need to cleanse the body because of the years of accumulated toxins. Until these toxins are removed from the body, they will continue to create fatigue, headaches, rashes, and other symptoms for years. I was able to thoroughly cleanse from the accumulated toxin buildup in a relatively short amount of time. 5. Remove chronic stress. Studies clearly show that our bodies receive physical damage due to negative emotions. This negative physical impact is very similar to the effects of autoimmunity in the body. Chronic stress results in chronic inflammation and disease. The National Institutes of Health published an article in the journal Autoimmune Diseases, in which it says, chronic stress affects the composition of the gut microbiota, and chronic stress also makes the gut leaky. When we are stressed, our hypothalamus releases hormones that signal the pituitary and adrenal glands to release stress steroids such as adrenaline and cortisol. Not knowing how to deal with emotional baggage and negative emotions can prevent this entire 5-step program from working. Even if you have been healing physically, unresolved negative emotions can cause your autoimmune disease to pop up over and over again. The genetic factor. There is a very strong genetic link with autoimmune diseases. Often, autoimmune diseases manifest in family clusters, where multiple family members have symptoms of autoimmune diseases. In my family, there are 6 members, including myself, that have had an autoimmune disease. Approximately 40% of Americans have some variation of a gene mutation called the MTHFR gene. This gene mutation hinders the bodies of those who have it from completing necessary chemical reactions. In short, the results of this gene mutation are that you will have a malnourished and malfunctioning immune system and nervous system. This is not good. Consequently, it has been found that a very large number of people who suffer from neuroimmune syndromes like autism, ADD, ADHD, fibromyalgia, multiple sclerosis, and other autoimmune-related disorders have the MTHFR gene mutation. I have it, and I found that all the autoimmune sufferers I personally know who have been tested for this gene mutation come out positive. This means that you could be doing all the right things to heal your autoimmune disease and yet still never fully heal because you have a problem at a genetic level that isn't being addressed. You'll be trying and trying, but just spinning your tires. Because of this workaround, I was able to bounce back from having dangerously low levels of vitamin B12 and vitamin D. This saved me from possibly having neurological disorders such as depression and brain fog in the near future.